Okay, great. We're live, apparently. I am here at Jeff Hurst's studio. Here's Jeff Hurst. The studio's in Chicago, where I'm teaching a 3-day workshop using mixed media, which includes Gamblin cold wax, oil paint, RNF pigment sticks, some pan pastels, some art graph, which is one of my favorite drawing materials, and what else do I got? I got some stencils from, shout out to Stencil Girl, and what I'm painting on is encaustic board by Ampersand, and also multimedia art board, which you can find online. So what's been going on here, the students have been creating layers for the last day and a half. So we are just building layers of oil paint with cold wax, using all these materials just to build layers. I like to say to them, don't rush the painting. We're not making a painting yet. So what I have right here are some starts. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to show you pottery tools, by the way, that I have enough layers on here that I can scrape in and pull some paint off. So that's number one. This was a dried painting that I brought from home. So I got some residue of the paint. And I'm going to come over here. I've got this beautiful perline red. It's a transparent red from Gamblin, and I'm going to put about 50% of cold wax in there. Why do I use cold wax? I was introduced to it in 80-something in graduate school by my pal Marie. Hi, Marie. And I like the way it gives my paint texture. It makes the paint matte. It gives it a real nice frosting almost consistency, and it helps the paint to dry a little bit quicker. And it also neutralizes the paints so that you don't have to worry about fat over lean and those kinds of things. So I'm going to take this perline red, I'm going to put it on this silicone bowl scraper thing, and I'm just going to come over here and cover up this mess I have here. To me, this is just another layer. It's transparent, so you can see what's underneath. It gives a nice, you can see where the light is. You guys can come up closer to see. My students are here. I'm not reactivating the painting that much. My touch is very light. So a lot of what I do is about the touch of the brayer or the scraper. But the most important thing is, you see this? If you're going to be a painter, you have to use paint. So what's the motto? More paint. So I'm going to just lay that down here. And you can see that it's a red painting, but all those colors underneath, once they're under the transparency, really just rich enough and create lights and darks. So I'm just going to leave that here. You can see that I have all these paintings going on, and I hate to waste paint. So I'm going to just come over here and put some of this down. This is this art board, that multi-art board that I was talking about. What's nice about it is it's archival, it's hard, you can really kind of whip it around. I could carve into that too, and it'll, if I go over that later, you'll see those marks in there. And I also have Arches oil paper, which is a great product to use because you don't have to do anything to it. You just go right on there and paint on it. They're taped. I always push that so that you can go across, I call it go across the borders. I'm not going to make a political joke. And so that I can really sort of break the idea of working within the little painting like this, right? So I can get some gestural motion. Pigment sticks, great for gesture. Using your shoulder, moving the paint. They're also great for monotyping, printmaking, A lot of what I do is about moving paint. How am I going to move the paint? Notice there's no brushes around. So I'll just pick this up with wax paper, and I got a little of that sexy blue. Maybe I'll put a little down here. And it's all about subtlety for me in terms of, you know, you're not going to see that later, but it's there at the moment. If I come in with my finger and I scrape here, I can pull out a little line, and I can always come back here and pull back and reveal. So conceal and reveal is something that, you know, I think about a lot. And then I'll cover it up again, always covering things up. I'm going to actually take a little of this transparent orange, another fun color that gives this, look at the orange glow, right? See it? There you go. So really a nice feel to that. And just for fun's sake, this is this art graph. You can look it up online, but you can really move through the piece and get these dark marks with it, which is fun. The other thing that I want to show you is let's see, I am going to take a sponge roller. Am I going to do that? No, I am going to take a dark color. This is like a Prussian blue. It's also transparent, and I'm going to go right over this. Now this is a couple layers in. Again, very light touch over it. And so I can do it with the scraper. I can also do it with the brayer, which gives you a different feel to it. You can see it's a little less opaque, right? So you can see through it. I can move this way. Now what I can do is, I'm going to use a stencil. Pressman's comment about stencils, I love them, but use them and lose them. So I actually use them to create variation in color, so it'll pull up some color. It might be a little, see there, like that. But then I would come back in here, and I might come over here and put it over here. And so I've got some of that going on. The other thing is, let's put this over here. Let's take this. This is a warm white from Gamblin. I'm just going to go over the stencil. See the brayer? Those of you who know me, you know I love the sprayer thing. I wasn't trained as a printmaker, but I always say that my last name's Pressman. So there must be something going on here. Notice the way I'm using the brayer. Once you start doing this, and this is what I like to tell students, you know, you go boom, 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 you're going to make a mess. Maybe you won't, but you might. So I'm usually a one-time across. One other thing I think I'll tease you with, which is these pan pastels. I am not a pigment. A lot of people use loose pigment. That's not something I usually do. I love pan pastels, because I used to do pastels a lot. These are compressed. There's not so much dust to them. You can use them these as an aside. But what I like to do with them in this process, you ready, kids? I just like sprinkle it on. And what it does is it gives you a different kind of variation of texture, right? It adds subtle color, and then I can brayer it, and there it goes on the brayer, and I might just cross over here.
Wow.
Right? So it adds some really nice color. It'll also help the paint to dry some, because it gives it some give to some absorbency. The other thing is they have sponges, which of course I can't find. Oh, here it is. So when the painting's somewhat tacky, I could come in here, and those of you who use encaustic, these work great on encaustic. I can just come in here and sort of change this. I was going to say change the channel. I could change this color a little bit just by putting that down. And then if I wanted to just seal it a bit, I might just roll over it. So those are kind of fun to do and also use with the stencils. So I can come in here. Well, I could probably talk for an hour, huh? I'm not going to. You know, put that on here. Put this down. Let's see what we can pull up. Again, I am not thinking too much about the painting. I'm just setting up a surface. I usually, again, the stencils will disappear. This may end up to be a white or red painting. I don't know yet because the painting's not talking to me. What I like to tell my students is that half of painting is the painting. What's the other half? Looking, seeing. So I would have to spend 2 days with this up here and then see what I want to get rid of, knowing that the stencil's going to go bye-bye, that kind of thing. I think that's good. Questions? The one question we had that they can't remember to ask me is, how do you get so much work done? The truth is I really don't get that much work done. I have these pieces that I bring to workshops that go home with me wet and they sit on a shelf. And so I have like 20 oil and cold wax paintings that are just sitting there and waiting. So when I'm home, I bring them out, I work on them, and they usually are built up enough that I can get some work done. Same thing with the encaustic work. You know, they're sitting. I have one set of 8x10s that have been sitting there for a year, waiting for something to happen to them. So, thank you for visiting. We may do this again. We'll let you know. JeffreyHurst.com, LisaPressman.net. I am planning to do some online video classes sometime in the future, so you can be in touch with me. Stay tuned, and I hope you had some fun.